Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. It's the voicemail episode. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we will be talking about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin' Baseball. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for a little bit, tuning in. Thank you to everyone that called. My name's Jimmy. We got Trevor coming to us from Hidden Hills. We got Jake from the Bronx. Producer BBD's in the Bronx. They're at the Roosevelt Studios. That's RSVLTS. Trev's at his house. I'm at my home. And we're ready to talk some baseball. Is that correct, Trev?
I'm ready to talk baseball, man. We've been kind of talking baseball all morning.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit of politics before we went live. I don't know if we want to just throw that in here. I know everyone loves to hear other people talk about politics, so that could be fun.
I hate hearing myself talk politics.
I do too.
Jake, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was having a bad hair day, so I put on my backwards Bernie hat, so now I'm just having a douchey look day, which is kind of my normal day, so I'm doing all right. Excited to talk some baseball with you gals. Guys, I had just a realization, because we do our Sharp Stats Talking Yanks analytics episode, and we do that once a week during the regular season. And we only have 2 left. The season's ending, man. And it's I don't know. You just have those different things that remind you of it, and it's a crazy year. We've seen 45, 46 games from some of these teams, and it's about to be the end of the season. It's bizarre.
It is crazy. I mean, some teams have 10 games left.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously excited about the playoffs and what that means for us content-wise, because I have no idea yet. Trev, we're going to have to do a show every day, but we also do the pregame show every day. I mean, so this is just a glimpse into the big conversation we have to have off air. Because last year, Jake and I did a show every morning at 10 a.m. just recapping the games that happened the night before. In the playoffs. That's how we did it.
And then a pregame.
I don't know. We didn't do pregame show. I don't know I don't know what we're going to do. Are we just going to be doing a 3-hour block of baseball talk and then chop it into 2 different shows? I have no idea. I think everything else on my agenda besides talking baseball, talking Yanks, and breakdowns will be, I don't know. That's crazy. We're about to get into a hell of a stretch, so I'm excited about it. As long as
Coach, I'm ready for it. Put me in, Coach. I'm ready. Play ball.
I poured myself a cup of coffee way before the pregame show, which was an hour and a half ago, and I forgot to drink it.
Dang.
So.
Okay.
All right. BBD, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm well.
Nobody
I think
cares.
This is a good time to begin the voice. I don't care either.
Which hat do you think would look best on you?
Ooh.
Of these 3?
Yeah.
I have hats like the Bernie hat, but I'd have the most fun in Trevor's hat.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a fun hat.
I like when I look at you guys on the TV, it kind of feels like what my picture would be if I died in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That's for the live viewers, so.
Oh, shit.
Let's hit that first voicemail. How about
Let's get it.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from Lubbock, Texas. Big Braves fan, lifelong fan, so don't give me any crap for it. Hey, got a couple questions about MLB. First thing, today, September 14th, if we started the playoffs today, we've got 3 teams at 500 or less. I think we got the Phillies at just one game above 500. So is the expanded playoffs actually good for baseball? Other thing is the blackout restrictions. What's up with those? I thought those were supposed to push fans to the stadiums. Obviously, that's not happened this year. What's going on with that? What do y'all think? Maybe this is more of a rant, but what's y'all's take on it? Thanks.
All right, couple things. Expanded playoffs. Also, love the accent. Lubbock, Texas. Is that where he's from?
Lubbock, Texas Tech, baby.
Expanded playoffs. It's exciting for this season. It really, and Manfred basically came out and said we're going to have it because all the owners want it, and we know the owners want it. 162 game season means something. If you have over 50% of the teams getting in, 162 game season means nothing. Like if teams are punting games in the 60 game season and putting guys on the IL when they don't 100% need to be on the IL for a 60 game season, 160 game season, you just may have straight punt months. We'll steal outs here, steal outs there, steal wins here, bad lineup Fridays, backup Mondays. Who knows? Because it doesn't matter at all the tournament style playoffs I think is good this year, but I don't think it's good for baseball unless they lower the amount of regular season games to 100. Because I still think 60 is even too short for this expanded playoffs. We're kind of feeling that right now with how many bad teams there are. Also the unbalanced schedules. But maybe if they drop it to 100, which they won't, then it would make sense. But I don't know. What do you think?
Drop the season to 100 games?
Yeah, they're not going to do that because it's money.
Oh, no.
But
they'll never do that.
But that's the only way it would make sense to have 16 teams in the playoffs.
There is no chance they can keep this. I don't care what Rob Manfred says. If I will go to New York to the MLB's office and yell at Rob Manfred face to face if he decides to do that. I promise you I will, because I think it's so stupid. And it's good timing that we had was it James from Lubbock? Whoever it was.
Maybe.
I don't know if that was it either.
I don't think it was
good
James.
time to ask that question.
I think his name was Lark.
Tyler.
Tyler Lark.
Tyler and James, same thing. Tyler, Foolish Baseball and I had an exchange about this last night on my Twitter.
Bailey?
And he was basically saying 60-game season's fine for the expanded playoffs. It said, but given 162 games to find true talent level, it's irresponsible to give sub-500 teams a short series to knock out a powerhouse. And I totally agree with him. I said, tell him, except for the 12 teams. He said 12 teams, maybe if there was first-round buys. I don't like 12 teams. And I told him I barely like 10 teams. Because when you play 162 games and you have two teams battling it out with one game, it makes a mockery of the season. Now, the other four teams, obviously, they get to, enjoy not having to play in that game. But it's too much already. I get the fans like the wild. I even, as a fan, like the wild card game. But as a player, you can't like that. You can't like that at all. You battle all year. You win 96 games, and then you have to go play one freaking game. So to think that we'd have 16 teams over 162 games would be, honestly, that is the death of baseball. That would be the death of baseball. The same way that basketball sucks during the regular season. Because everybody makes the playoffs. The same thing would happen to baseball. No one would give a shit. So then all these games...
Yes. So I'm saying you'd have to shorten the regular season by a lot. Otherwise,
and they won't do that.
Otherwise, why would you tune in to April and May baseball? Honestly. If
seriously,
over 50% of the league makes it, if you're not a diehard fan, why would you tune in?
And that's when you turn up the blackout restrictions because people aren't going to the game. So that's how you really grow it. 16's too many. 16's too many, and it gets scary when Manfred comes out with that quote. And again, this all turns into stuff that's going to be on the negotiating table. I mean, like Jimmy's saying, if the owners come to the table and say they want this as the new format, the players probably come back and say, all right, 81 games. And that's how you start another angry conversation between these two groups. I do think there will be a way to scratch everyone's back, but baseball, the players and the owners are so terrible at that, I don't see it happening. Because I would like to see maybe the 1 and 2 teams in each league get rewarded with a bye of sorts. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not great with playoff formats. But if there is a way that you can reward those teams for excellency in the regular season, that is a grind. 162, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. That, I don't know if it's 2 play-in wildcard games, or I don't know if the 1 and 2 get excluded from 3-game series. I don't know. I think there is a way to do it, and you can you should be rewarding the elite teams. So
I just don't think
know.
a bye is a reward. We see it time and time again, man. It's like get hot close to playoffs and continue to roll. And those teams that have a 4-day layoff, 5-day layoff, man, it just hurts their chances. Like 8 teams is cool, man. 8 teams is cool. I get that you're going to exclude like some really good teams at that point. So like I'm okay with 10. And the problem you have with 10 and not having a 1-game wildcard game is the layoff. Because if you wanted to do a 3-game set with those 2 wildcard teams, which I think is the fairest thing to do, you're going to have teams waiting around. So I mean, there are some hurdles here, but adding teams to making it 16 for a regular 162-game season would be the death of baseball.
Jim, what's the home and home wild card thing from one of the leagues overseas?
Top seed has to win 1 game, lower seed has to win 2.
And it's both games are at the higher seed's place.
All 3 games would be at the higher seed place, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something, but it's not this for a regular season.
That would be cool. People act like that's crazy. It's really not that crazy. If you're right now, the 1 and the 8 seed, they should have done that this year. The 1 seed should just have to win 1 game. If the Rays play the 8 seed, who's the 8 seed right now?
White Sox are the 1, Cleveland's the 8.
Okay, so then White Sox have to win 1 game. If they win the first game, White Sox advance. They're the 1 seed. They should be given a benefit for being the 1 seed. If the White Sox lose the first game, well, now the next game, now that's do or die.
My counter to all of this is like baseball is meant to be played in a real series.
Well, that's interesting because
even the 3-game series, like we've been talking about that for a long time. Like a team could sneak up, man. It's not a real series. So
many people,
they got to figure something out.
So many people that I went to and heard their opinions on the playoffs and how there's no off days in the ALCS were all excited because they said this is a real test of a roster.
Yeah.
And the playoffs usually isn't. The playoffs is usually just a test of your top tier roster. And this is an actual test, which is a good point. Like there's a lot to it. It is different than any other year, but so is this year. So I found that like an interesting thing because that was not our takeaway, our instant reaction. And then it was some other people's, and it's all different.
Can I say, I don't love that take. I understand what the baseball truists are saying. Buck Showalter's been saying this for years, just to anyone that'll listen to him, that, we play a regular season that's built completely different. But you could say that about any sport. I mean, football playoffs, it's not guys 50 through 53 on the roster. I mean, you've got, your 11 guys on offense, 11 on defense. NBA, it's not about your 15th guy on the bench. I don't think I want baseball playoffs be decided by the 26th guy on the roster. I think if you can use them
it's
right,
not that.
and
It's just a fourth and fifth pitcher.
Right, but I don't know. I do think there are some parallels there that I don't know. I'm a big Scott Van Pelt, how good is your good guy, and I think the baseball playoffs does bring that out.
Yeah, but this would also counteract a lot of the platoon splits, the teams that try to take advantage analytically. Like, you got to fill out a roster, bro.
Yeah.
And you got to pay guys to come pitch for you. Like, they would put a huge emphasis on starting pitching, which we've gotten away from completely over the last few years. We're starting to do openers. We're letting guys go 2 times through the order. It would change the game completely if we just stuck to, 7-game series, or like you're saying this year, a 5-game series with no off days. So, yeah. I mean,
and
it's something they're going to have to tackle.
That might be a great way to bring back the starting pitcher. and stop some of this bullpen stuff, because so many good teams, they invest in their top couple SPs and then they invest in a couple bullpen guys, and that is how they're going to survive. If you do play it consecutively, give me more starting pitching.
I mean, think about
bullpenning's bad for the sport.
Yes.
Entertainment wise, obviously, the analytics say it's better when you're trying to compete and win as a team. But if you're talking entertainment wise, I've said this a bunch. If you bring new fans or young kids to the game and there's a new pitcher every inning, that's just a less fun thing to watch. Imagine going to a Broadway play and they change the lead actress out every 5 minutes. You'd be like, I can't fucking follow this.
And how much do you love when a starter's like grinding it out in like the 7th inning, like trying to figure out anything to get through that order again, like flipping up a curveball that he's only thrown once, in the last 2 weeks. Like I love stuff like that. Like figure out a way to grind through it and get it done. I think America likes that too. Like that's kind of like what we're America.
Yeah.
Go America.
Wow.
We like the grinders, man. So
the last thing I'll share, and we've shared this a bunch, we'll share it again when it comes up in the future. Owners, what they want, 10 teams, 12 teams, 16 teams. Someone in the patron chat said, expand the league. They want more than 50% of teams in the postseason. That's the number that they want. Basketball, more than 50% of teams. Hockey, more than 50% of teams. It's not like we want more teams. No, that's what the number they're focusing on. So that's the bummer of it all. Expansion wouldn't help. The second part of this question, which we're taking forever to answer now, was about the blackouts. That's a bunch of contracts. Like once those contracts are up with the local TV providers or whatever, hopefully then they restructure it so they don't have as many blackouts or blackouts at all. Would have been pretty ridiculous or hard, I guess, to fight that front when they were fighting a ton of other fronts as well. I mean, it's stupid, but it's not about making people go to the game. It's about the cable companies will pay more when you guarantee they can't watch it on the internet. It has nothing to do with making people go to the game. That's like a false thing.
That's what I was going to say. Like, that's not like oh man, I can't watch the game at home. I got to go to it. Like, no, that's not how it works.
That's
if
not
you're
why
going to go
they're
to the
blocking
game, you're going to go to the game.
Iowa from Cubs games. Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense when you're trying to get eyeballs on the sport. You're taking money over eyeballs, but eyeballs translates to more money.
And that's what I was going to say. Do you guys, because I think anyone who's like us in baseball media, you won't find a single person that likes the blackouts because there's only 30 people collecting on the checks that they get from them. Do you think there is any conversation that, because Trev, I truly do believe if you open up more eyeballs, if you lose a little bit on the TV revenue, you're going to make up for it in a lot of other places. Do you think anybody's having that conversation / believes that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think these are businessmen. We talk about that a lot when we were a labor dispute pod. Like, they're going to check every single angle, and whatever makes them money, that's what they're going to do. So hopefully they kind of take a look at the long picture here, because I think that's what it takes. Like, yeah, you might lose some money up front, but long term, getting more eyeballs in the sport makes sense. There's different revenue streams you can explore if you get rid of the blackouts. And I think they will look at it. They've heard everybody complain about it, especially this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, this is
and
a lot of stuff they had to figure out in baseball.
To anyone listening to the show, BBD, can you put like the criminal voice code effect on my voice here so no one can tell it's me?
If you know how to use Google, you can watch any game at any time, anywhere, on your phone, iPod, or laptop.
Wow, thanks, friendly robot.
Who's that?
I don't know who
Joined us.
that guy. Quit coming in here giving illegal advice, dickhead.
Wow.
Okay, I don't like that guy. I have nothing to do with that guy.
Yeah, it's bad. It's scary.
The robot.
Next voicemail.
Next.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Hayes. I'm an Braves fan from Nashville, Tennessee. So first thing, Freddie Freeman MVP. Calling it right now. Second thing, I want to talk a little bit about Juan Soto. So his numbers are ridiculous, but I'm kind of wondering what you guys think about how his sample size will affect his MVP chances. Because he's only had, I think, 2/3 the at-bat for, say, Freddie Freeman has, and doesn't have nearly the WAR. So I just want to get y'all's opinion on how his defensive and lack of playing time will affect his MVP odds. Even though his numbers are ridiculous, I personally don't think he's a front runner right now. And he is qualified for the stats now, but I just want to get y'all's opinion on how that will affect his chances. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Thank you.
His numbers are ridiculous, by the way.
Yes. I don't even the website that I found that Jake and I like the graphs on. I mean, they don't even have him in the top 5.
Yeah, he's not.
I don't know the numbers in the
votes,
comparison, but
I'll give you the numbers now, Jim. He has 11 homers through 117 at-bats, which is amazing. 476 on base, 726 slugging for a 1.202, 213 OPS plus. I mean, he's doing it. Those are ridiculous stats. But because, it doesn't have the accumulation, he'll get some MVP votes, but he won't be able to jump guys unless he just goes even more insane at the end of the year. It's a very slim chance in my opinion.
Well, how many games do they have left to play?
Let's see, MLB standings. So he's played in 33 games, and remember, he had the whole fake COVID.
Yeah, I think they have 14 left, the Nationals.
I mean, that's just tough to make up. Even if he plays every game, which I don't know if he does, that lands him at what? 47?
Yeah.
Here's Freddie Freeman, though. Here's what he leads the league in right now. He's played 49 games, doesn't lead the league in that, but doubles with 18, RBIs with 46, batting average at 352, 465 on base percentage, 188 OPS plus, leads the league in all those. I don't think Soto's qualified, apparently, because he does not have bold numbers in his stat column.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Freeman is...
I'll give the cop
fourth in the MVP voting in 2018, 8th in the MVP voting in 2019. Could be his year.
I'll give the cop out. I mean, some teams have 15 games left, some have 10 games left. Even if it's 10, that's technically 1/6 of this season, which normally would be like a month of baseball. So, I mean, I think it's going to be decided down the stretch. If Soto can go nuts, give it a shot. Mookie Betts is leading the NL in WAR right now, and I feel like we haven't talked a ton of Mookie, but WAR speaks, and I do think, I don't know, I think a lot of voters, the analytics are so heavily involved this year, but I think there is going to be feel. Like, jumping to the AL real quick, I think Luke Voigt's going to get AL MVP love because he's carried the offense. He might lead the league in home runs. But I think in WAR right now, he's like 30th in the American League because he's kind of a clunky first baseman. So I think you'll see guys like that get slightly more love than you would in other years, but I don't know. It's going to be decided in the next 2 weeks.
Fernando Tatis. Can't forget about him.
Yeah, I have Betts as the favorite right now.
I mean, he's got a 3 WAR, which is, half a WAR ahead of any other NL position player.
Yeah, I mean, those 4 guys we're mentioning, and Conforto has a 2.4 WAR. Yastrzemski's done it. Dansby Swanson, who challenged to get it going this year, got it going this year. So there's some good players, but yeah, Betts probably is in the lead with Freeman right behind him. I would say those are the 1 and 2s right now. Tatis too.
Mookie leads the NL in homers, and he's an all-world defender.
Yeah, right now it's Mookie plus 250, Freeman plus 450. Tatis plus 124. They just have them in a weird order.
Really? So if
and then Corey
still believe in the Padres, so hey, maybe Dodgers split some LA votes and Tatis has it.
He's got the flash, and the team
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And the writers say that doesn't matter. It freaking matters.
He's got to get a little hot too. Hasn't he kind of cooled down recently?
He's cooled down. I don't know. I don't have the stats right in front of me, like the last 10 days or whatever. But I mean, he's 969 OPS right now, and he was definitely over 1,000 not too long ago. But still leads the league in home runs and runs. Games.
His last 8 games are pretty poor.
Last 14 days, he's hitting 200. Last 7 days, he's hitting 095. So again, like, how
right now?
How are your next 10 games?
I'm buying all the stock.
I don't think Soto can get there, to answer the question officially.
And they're going to be in last place. Right now?
Yeah. What's that?
Tatis last year, 379 OBP. This year, 376. Last year, 590 slugging. This year, 594 slugging. OPS last year, 969. This year, 969. So this is kind of who he is. That's really good. Good job, Padres, on that trade. James Shields, way to go.
Hey, Nats fans, be loud about Soto because his numbers are disgusting.
I love Soto.
27 walks, 21 strikeouts.
Someone was asking us about trading cards and stuff when we were doing Talkin' Yanks, Jake. I don't know if you remember that. Soto's like my guy. Like, if you're going to invest in one of these guys' cards and hold it over Robert, over Tatis, who's the other big guys that do it? It's Juan Soto. That's he's young enough and he is a monster.
Jim, you get to buy one current player's baseball card. Who are you getting?
Alejandro Kirk.
Next caller, BBD.
Hey guys, this question's for Trevor. So I had a high school coach that was a pro ball player, and he was more of a hands-off, kind of a passive manager, didn't really get on you about things. I was just wondering, at the major league level, how hands-on is a manager towards his players? Does he just set the lineup and forget it, or does he, interact with guys more so than the hitting coach? Go Reds. Thanks, guys.
Ooh. Go Reds. I mean, typically a manager is hands-off. At the major league level, they're more of a therapist. They are a face of the club. They answer questions about the club. They make some decisions during the game. That's gone kind of by the wayside lately. But they are not typically hands-on when it comes to time in the cage, defensive work. You'll have them there every once in a while. But even Paul Molitor, who's one of the best hitters of all time, was very hands-off. He didn't want to step on anybody's toes. He would tell me that all the time. So they typically will say, we have a hitting coach for a reason. We have an infield coach for a reason. We have a pitching coach for a reason. They lend their helping hand when they see fit, but most of the time, they're doing the other shit. And I think that's the right way to approach it.
Isn't it pretty normal, though? Genuine question, that the manager would be hands-on with the coaches, and the coaches are hands-on with the players? Isn't that the normal flow chart? Like, managers manage who's below them. And then
but they are specialists in their field. So the manager will just kind of, they'll check in, see.
But everyone reports up.
They'll report, but like, you're not going to be in the cage. And, I don't think Boone is in the cage, even though he was a hitter.
Yeah. I don't expect that. I think that the manager gets reports from the hitting coach. Hey, this guy's been looking good here. This guy's been struggling with this. And then the manager takes that info into his game decisions.
Yes. As far as going out and doing drills and whatnot, a manager will be out there overlooking, and it's in the title, man. He manages, but he's not coaching.
I don't think that's a knock. I think that's
it's not
how it works. Like, he gets a report from the bullpen coach to let him know who looks good out there and what's the vibe out there. He gets a report from the coaches. That's kind of how it works. And they don't make lineups right now, right?
There are certain guys who, have experience, like, Girardi was a catcher. So if he wants to go and help the catchers, he might do that. Not a lot of designated catching coaches on teams. So you could see someone doing that, or There's not really many pitchers, ex-pitchers that are managers, huh? Is there any right now? Or
Mickey
ever?
Callaway.
Is Bud Black?
Yeah, Mickey Callaway.
Is Bud Black
So
managing?
those guys would maybe be a little bit more hands-on because they would be considered, specialists in that field, but they got a lot of shit to do too. So they delegate, and usually it's the coaches are coaching.
I've got a dumb Jake anecdote really quickly. That maybe this will help out a young listener. Is I remember Trev, your USC Trojans when they were in their prime, Pete Carroll. Young Jake heard that Pete Carroll didn't make his players run sprints at practice, and young Jake thought that was awesome. I was like, what? Pete Carroll doesn't make his players run sprints. And I just never put two and two together that it was like, hey, if you want to be professional, you want to be show, you do your work. And then you come to practice and get your thing done. And that's what professional athletes do, not chubby kids playing JV soccer. So that's just a little insight.
That's why, when you go from the minor leagues to the big leagues, everything changes. You're supposed to do it on your own. Like, you have your routine, do it. In the minor leagues, they'll push you and make you do shit. But when you get to the big leagues, it's like you should have that established already. You are a professional, blah, 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 blah.
And know what else changed last week, Trev? It was sure nice seeing the football teams back on the gridiron. Lucky for us, that was just week 1. There's no better place to get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, to add to the excitement of week 2. DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now, because you don't want to miss this. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving away all new users the chance to turn one doll hair into 100 doll hairs when they bet on any team. That's right. $1 on any team, and if that team wins, you get a cool Benjamin. How can you pass that up? If you're new to DraftKings Sportsbook, head to the app now to scout their latest offers. Bet with DraftKings Sportsbook, a sportsbook that goes wherever you go. DraftKings is safe, reliable, secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOMBOY when you sign up to get this can't-miss offer. Pick any team during week 2, bet $1 on them, win $100. And if they win. That's $1 to win $100 when you use promo code JOMBOY during sign-up for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wow, huge.
Bang.
Next voicemail.
Up 8% today.
Seahawks.
Hey, Jim, Jake, Trevor. Big fan of the show. Thanks for everything you guys do. Also a big Dodgers fan, coming to you from L.A. I want to talk about Cody Bellinger. He came out in 2017 with a huge rookie season. 18 was a down year. 19 was obviously a huge MVP season for him. But if you actually look at the numbers, I'm pretty sure his OPS declined actually every single month. So he had a really, really hot start, but definitely tailed off, and obviously in the playoffs didn't really show up. And in 2020, he hasn't been any better. And if you notice, I think he's standing a lot closer to the plate, and I don't know why someone doesn't just tell him to back up a bit. But anyways, his OPS, I think, is the biggest drop of any player this season. So just want to get your guys' thoughts. Love the show. Thanks again. Jake sucks. Thanks.
Bless you, Trev.
Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
His numbers are pretty bad, Jake.
Yeah.
And like our caller said, last year, his OPS did tick down every single month. It's kind of like very neatly done. Yeah, and it's getting in the splits now, doing what you can. He actually had a pretty okay August. I mean, he had a 927 OPS. The bookends, 8 games in July and 11 in September, have been atrocious around it. Honestly, for Cody, and this is where things, and again, where I started today, if this was a normal season, we'd be saying, you know what, like we're still before the All-Star break. Like, Cody Bellinger could still have a world-class second half and turn it around. He's not going to have that this year, and that's going to lead to
a lot of crazy conversations in all these sports towns because a lot of people are going to have these small sample sizes that jump off the map, and Cody's one of them right now. For him, man, it's all going to come to October. He's got terrible postseason numbers, 178 and a 560 OPS in 36 career postseason games. So if Cody keeps doing what he's doing this year, it's kind of a shrug. If he comes into the postseason and he rakes, LA's going to love him. If he struggles in the postseason, oh boy, they're going to come out with the knives big time.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference I'm seeing is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but 2018, they were sitting him against lefties. And he came out and said, I want to play. Like, he thought he deserved to play against everyone. Dave Roberts gave him that opportunity in 2019, and I don't have the numbers, but I know he did a lot better. Obviously, won the MVP in 2019. But then if you go back to his splits this year, he's struggling against lefties. So that has something to do with it. I agree with you, Jake. Usually you'd give guys like this time and they'll figure it out. In this sprint of a season, things can snowball. He does have that upright stance that leads to a lot of head movement, and if your timing isn't exactly right when you do stuff like that, you're gonna have trouble. And I haven't watched enough Dodger games to know if they're exploiting him in a certain zone or pitching him differently this year. I gotta imagine, the book was already out last year, and he said, "Screw the book." So, it could be as simple as adjustment as him starting a little earlier, or maybe not being so upright. I know Yelich has been kind of struggling with that, finding the happy medium of being upright and then being in a hitter's position. Because if you just look at my head move. Like when I'm standing upright and then I'm coming down, trying to track a ball like that is tough. And he clearly hasn't been perfect with his timing, which a lot of times that when you do something like that, you got to be perfect with your timing. So I think, he's got to figure out something against lefties. It's been a huge thing. He hasn't exactly lit the world on fire against righties either. But I believe in him.
He hasn't been handling fastballs. Like, according to some of the advanced numbers, he slugged 669 on fastballs last season. He's currently slugging 339 on fastballs this season.
So that's a timing issue.
Yeah. And then he's chasing a touch more this year.
And that all adds up to like the way he stands in the box and that straight up and down thing, man. You got to be so right with your timing when you do that.
So I don't know. The season looks kind of lost for him. It is about the postseason, and he's kind of historically struggled there. So hopefully, maybe you flip the script, save it off for the postseason.
John, I think you said this a little bit last year too. Those first couple postseason games for Cody are going to be big. Yeah. If he his first at bat, he pops a double down the line. If you're Cody, you're saying, "All right, I'm about to have the best postseason of my life."
First two games. Yeah. If you go 1 for 8 your first 2 games, or 0 for 8, I don't think that's a hole they'll come out of.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of weight on that. Like the stones are already on his shoulders, and he can either remove them right away or just put like double the weight in those first 2 games.
Mm.
So I'm curious to see, and then I guess we shouldn't spend too much more time on this one, but Bellinger did, he made a huge adjustment, and here he's talking about it. This is before they came back, so before the season, talking about how he's a little pigeon-toed, keeping his front hip in. He says, "I've never had that much time, and I got a chance to work on my swing, and it could be a blessing in the long run." He's not making a big adjustment. There's always small points in your swing that you realize make you good. You make an adjustment, and you do it in the cage, and that's what they were doing all during COVID. You're in the cage. You can do a lot of things. We've talked about that a lot. Bringing it into the game is a different thing. So it seems to me like he made this adjustment, has just said, "I'm going to stick with it." But, trial by fire, man. That's at the big league level, it's hard to do. If you're not feeling right and you just try to stick through it, you're going to have a season kind of like what he's having. So it'd be interesting if someone got in his ear and was like, "Hey, Cody, maybe we should just go back to what you were doing last year."
I know a guy who's a little bit of a ball player whisperer.
Who was almost the Dodgers coach.
Yeah.
Thank God. Oh my goodness. Well, I'd be miserable.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next voicemail?
Hey, JOMBOY, Jake, Trevor. This is Austin. I'm a Rocks fan, just like my boy Jakey over here, and I just want to hear some Rockies love. More specifically, let's talk about this storyline that's going on right now. They've had some very high highs and some very low lows. More specifically, I think their season took a rough turn once they had that first D-back series when the bats started flying, and they started coming back a little bit, and then the Giants happened, and they just keep getting hammered. Do you think that they can make a turn for the best for the playoffs? I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this, Trevor. Jake does not suck. He's a Rocks fan. Thanks. Bye.
Wow.
Well, we kind of did this in the pre.
I didn't listen to that.
Well, he wants to talk about the Rocks and their chances in the postseason, and he asked for some Rocks love. So thank you for calling in, but I'll give you the opposite right
You
away.
might not get that.
Rockies are bullshit, man. I'd be so mad if I was a Rockies fan. It feels like it's another fan base out there complacent with not being competitive. The Giants are ahead of you. The Padres just rebuilt in your face, traded ahead of you for every piece at the deadline, and is now so much better than you. And you were supposed to be the second best team in the West. Like, you have all these stud players. This is your window. The pitching was doing pretty well for a while. I'm not like too up to date with it. Just optics wise, if I'm a Rockies fan, I'm mad right now. And I don't know what the fan base feelings are, but it feels like they're a little complacent. Like, they were supposed to be good, Jake. This is their window to be good. They're fourth in their division, fighting for a bullshit wild card spot that only exists in a freaky season. I don't get it. They should be really good.
They ended up being bad last year. They won 71 games, something like that.
Part of it too, like I'm saying, back-to-back years.
Oh yeah, and they are, and that's why they were excited for this season, and they are on the brink. I mean, if they don't get to this dance, which again has been expanded to them, I mean it's going to be full rebuild. I think Arenado's been looking to get moved the past couple years. Story Blackman is awesome, but he's also running out of steam. Like, Charlie, I think, needs to find a DH spot somewhere. And yeah, man, I love that spin zone by my guy. Let's go Rocks. He says they run hot and cold. If you remember, they opened up the season 11-3. Go Rocks. And then after that, they went on a 10-22 stretch. So yeah, you can get hot and cold, or you could just get cold. I'll say this, and I've been saying this on every pregame show, so I got to stop saying it. They're 22-25, so how many games do they have left? 13? 14? 13.
That's math, bro. That was quick.
If you go 10-3, you save your season. 9-4, you save your season. Bad news, you got the Dodgers coming up. That doesn't look good. You go to Arizona. Again, they stink and they should be giving up. So I'm just saying there's 5 teams in the NL saying right now, if we finish strong, we're going to make the playoffs. The Rockies are giving themselves that same speech. And I will say this, talk about the 3 least sexy starting pitchers that are probably having a decent year. Antonio Sensatella has a 2.3 WAR. Kyle Freeland with a 2.2 WAR, and then our guy Herman Marquez is pretty good himself. So I get it, Rockies fans. You could talk yourself into it, but you better have a good 2 weeks, because otherwise I think a lot of those guys are going to be leaving for Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, you just have like the Mariners and the Giants having the same thoughts that you just laid out, and that's not the company you're supposed to be keeping.
What was it that he wanted me to comment on? Just that in general? I was sorry. I was doing some research and I kind of missed it.
Yeah, I think it was the Rocks.
Just those Rocks.
I don't know.
Specific for Trev.
They signed Matt Kemp. Like I love Matt, but like the Padres went and got Mike Clevenger. Like let's make some moves like that. If you want to freaking put a winning team out there, you got to make some winning moves. And I love the players they have there. They got some really good players. They should move them. They can't do it this year. Move all of them. Rebuild. I hate saying that. I hate that word. But, dude, whatever they're doing is not working.
Yeah, man. It's I'll say the fun story that's probably not on a lot of people's radars is Josh Fuentes has been playing first base for them, and he's been playing pretty well. He's Arenado's cousin. Literally cousins. That's really cool.
I think he was like unscouted, undrafted.
Yeah, he wasn't a big prospect. He just started working out with his damn cousin who's really good at baseball, and that worked out for him. So, I don't know. It sucks that our guy David Dahl, man, after such a good last year, he's struggled. Daniel Murphy's been an atrocious signing, and that's a lot of Rocky fans point towards that because in their heads, the Rockies only have so much money to spend. And Daniel Murphy was some of that money. And if you look at their bullpen, I mean, my God, guys, if they didn't have Daniel Bard, who was out of the league for 6 years, I mean, their bullpen is atrocious. So,
in their head is a good.
Hey, let me put
I knew you'd like that. I knew you'd like that, Cat. Yeah.
I need to put some respect on Matt Kemp's name. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, what was that, Trev?
It's not really a signing that a winning team would do necessarily, but he's been pretty good.
Yeah. Got that Coors boost, baby. Get hot, Rocks.
38 games he's played?
Yeah.
He's like their primary DH.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I didn't know that he was playing that much. 753 OPS, 6 homers, 21 RBIs. I mean, he's doing a lot better than I would have guessed.
Probably shouldn't be playing that much.
Accomplishment.
Rihanna. Hey, he's crushing lefties. Matt Kemp with the 887 OPS versus lefties. There you go, babe.
Good for him, man. He is actually a really cool, nice guy. So
hot.
Yeah, good looking.
Pretty eyes.
Do we have more voicemails?
2 more.
Baggies are up 3-0, Jake.
Ooh, West Brom.
EFL Cup.
Hey, talking baseball. It's Tommy G calling in from Oklahoma City. Lifelong Astros fan. But I don't want to talk about the Astros right now because that just makes me sad to think about them. It's hard to root for them. I want to talk about my favorite player, Shohei Ohtani. He's with the Angels. I don't know if you guys know. He's with the Angels, injured, batting horribly. He's getting scared, backing out of the box. He's uncomfortable to plate. He's getting frustrated. What is the future for Shohei Ohtani? Does he need to switch to full-time DH? Put him out in right field because he's got a hell of an arm. Let me know what you guys think about Shohei, his career prospects, how it's going to pan out. Maybe if I might even get to see him as an Astro. All right, guys. Love the podcast. Jake sucks.
Ooh. I have no idea. I was asking brother-in-law Brett about Ohtani.
Yeah.
No idea. What do you do?
I should know way more. My former agent is his agent.
Ooh.
But I typically don't just go, hey, how's Ohtani doing?
Well, maybe.
But I would say this, and this is league-wide for me. Like, if you're struggling this year, I'm not going to hold it against you, man.
Ooh.
Weird season. Different for your body in terms of when you got started. What were you doing during that downtime? Then you got to be like secluded in your hotel room everything is strange. Some people will take advantage of it and are doing really well this year, and some people are going to struggle with it. I'm not going to hold it against him. He's an all-world player. I mean, there's been people saying he's CC Sabathia said he's the best player on the planet because he can do both. Obviously, he's hurt and can't do both right now. He's not hitting either. But when he's right, that's the kind of player he is. So I'm going to give him a pass for this year. It's on a shit team.
What do you do in the future, though, Trev? I mean, is pitching out of his repertoire? Because, he throws 100 miles per hour. Isn't that more valuable than a bat? Aren't bats an easier commodity than a guy who can throw 100 as a starter?
Yeah, yes. yes, it's more valuable to have him as a starter. I could see him doing a bullpen thing. They're going to try to continue to start him 100%. That's where, like you said, that's the value. But if it's too much stress on the arm and he doesn't really come back the way they want him to, I could see them doing a Shohei closing things out, high leverage Shohei, whatever it is. I'm not giving up on this guy. I don't think anybody that's an Angels fan should, or like Shohei.
Yeah, I don't think you can bullpen him because then you want him playing in the field, and then what's he is gonna warm up with the guy between innings or something? I don't know. You keep him stretched out to be a starter. You say he had some injuries, and then you figure it out from there. I'll give him some credit. In a year he's not hitting it all. 7 stolen bases, no caught stealings. So Shohei's still out there trying to get it. And yeah, man, he's a special talent.
They're all tail end double steals.
All double steal. Wow. Yeah, man, it's I mean, look at his pitching stats on this year are 1.2 innings pitched to 37 ERA. So Trev, unfortunately, I think I'm going to end up hating the saying you just said, but like for Shohei Ohtani, this year kind of doesn't matter. Bring it next year. All's forgotten. I just hate that there's going to be so many guys saying that through this offseason into next year. But yeah, man,
there's going to be 28 teams that say that.
Oh yeah.
Team who wins the World Series isn't going to say it, and the team who wins the World Series isn't going to say it. But everyone else is going to say, whatever, that was a fun, weird year. Next year is real again.
And I think that person also wanted to hear if Shohei would end up on Houston. Yeah, if that's what you need to hear to like better your day when he hits free agency in 2024, absolutely.
How does that work? If they wanted to DH him and then bring him in high leverage or whatever, they would lose the DH, right?
And the pitchers would have to hit. Then you could you have pinch hitters. So maybe.
Can he just hit?
He is the pitcher.
Yeah, but I'm saying
after that, then he'd be the pitcher. Yeah.
You'd have to pinch hit for.
Yeah, well, you just have him close out games. He becomes the closer. He becomes
the
closer,
like only closing in game situation.
He goes from DH to 7, 8, 9 guy, and he's still hitting and he's pitching now.
I mean, he gets his last at bat in the 7th inning, comes out for another right fielder, heads straight to the pen. I mean, that's a good time.
What if he's like has a chance to drive in a run, but it's going to put him up by 4. And he's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to bunt here. I need to get this save, get my ARB numbers up.
Stat pad and pod. We got one more, Beavers?
What's up, JOMBOY Media? It's Kyle Badano giving you guys a call again. I got a question for Trevor this time. Was wondering if in the locker rooms there was any, or in the clubhouse, any kind of games you guys did. I asked that when I was playing college ball. Our coach, former minor leaguer, did Kangaroo Court. We did something called Cowboy Up on the road trips. We had somebody was trying to go to the bathroom on the bus, walking to the back. Someone yelled Cowboy Up, and everyone would stand up and try to fuck them up. I'm sure you guys aren't doing that. You guys got a lot more money riding and a lot bigger guys. But then he was telling me about leaning trash cans full of piss and shit up on people's doors in the hotels and then knocking. And then when they open, it all spills out. Let me know if you guys did anything fun like that, anything you're willing to share. Thanks for everything, guys. Later.
Dang. Some aggressive ass teams.
BBD started losing it. I don't know if you guys could see that in the corner. So, Trev, yeah, tell us your stories like that.
Kangaroo Court's a thing. We had, I think, most controversial thing that we would do on the bus, we'd have whoever was the MC. We'd do a thing called Hotline Bling.
Mm.
And it was a chance for people to say what they wanted to say anonymously.
Ooh.
What they would do is they would text something to whoever's the MC. The MC was not allowed to reveal where this came from. He'd get the text and he'd read it over the read it over like the loudspeaker on the bus. And I'll never forget my favorite
Big
one.
minor?
This is big leagues.
Okay.
So, we have a very diverse league. We have, guys that English is their second language. So you get the text going, and usually these guys can speak it a little bit more than they can write it. So one of the texts was, like, so-and-so, whoever was the guy, has shit of the mouth. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So we go and ask. You were like, okay, like, can somebody like figure out what does that mean? Shit of the mouth. He's trying to say this guy has bad breath and needs to brush his teeth, but that's how it came out. He has shit of the mouth. So then, for the rest of the year, I'm not gonna name who the guy was. But we always tell him, man, you got shit of the mouth today. Like, go brush your teeth. It was so funny.
What did it mean?
Bad breath.
Like bad breath. Shit of the mouth or something. It was so good. But that was a fucked up one because people would say mean things.
Did you ever get got?
Oh, all the time. Oh, all the time. People love to mess with me. Talk about how I have no range at their base, all this stuff. So it got a little personal, but that's fun. You got to be able to have thick skin. So stuff like that. No shit and piss on the doors.
I mean, like, I did Jake in college once, but it wasn't shit and piss, just garbage.
Yeah.
We would order room service to people's rooms. That was fun. Just like send a bunch of shit to their room. They'd be like, I didn't order this or that. But that's not as cool as the shit of the mouth.
And who's the teammate you've seen naked the most, Dozier?
I've seen everybody. I mean, I've seen a lot of dudes naked. Phil Hughes a lot.
Ooh.
A lot, yeah.
Hughesy was confident. He was stand tall.
Everybody is, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't hide it. You can't hide it, man.
Mine hides it.
Deep showers. You got the showers. Yeah.
So that was the last one?
Yeah.
Hughes was never like walking back from the bathroom on the bus and then everyone would kick his ass?
Old prank.
We never did that. We never did that one. We had a few guys get naked on the bus. That's just weird.
That's like a 20-year-old college thing.
Yeah.
The minor leagues.
Like,
bus rides in the minor leagues
are doing that too, just kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah, there's some, when you go on the road trips in the minor leagues, some silly shit happens on the bus. Because it's long bus rides and people are like delirious from the season. It's a little wild.
It's good to be young and dumb.
Yeah.
Sure is. All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone that called in and left a voicemail. We appreciate you. Thank you to the patrons for hanging out with us live. Enjoy the baseball. We'll be back on Friday with the series recap.